Hey, welcome, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Gym Time with myself, Debbie, and Maurice. So, hi, guys. And let us know who's on. Let us know who's in the chat. It's good to
Yeah,
know who's on. Our big sis is on. So, hi to you, Sonia. Who else is on? Michael's on.
yeah, Michael
Nice for you
Park.
to join us
Hey,
once
Mike.
again.
Hey, Michael. Hello. I'm here as well. Not. Oh, right. I allow you just this one time to get away with it. Yeah.
No, he was probably in the midst of
I
typing.
know. I know. I was too fast.
Right.
How?
So, yeah, I am. Do you know what? Today's been a bit of a challenging
Hey,
day.
Roms.
Lots to do. So it's kind of like now I've got to have tunnel vision and get my head in the game. So yeah, I am looking forward to this subject, to be quite honest.
So am I.
Yeah. So tell everyone where you're at, because you're not in the UK,
I'm.
are
I'm.
you?
I'm not in the UK right now. I'll flash up a picture. Yeah. My background. This was this. This was this morning. Let's have a look. All right, let's close this off. That was this morning from my room. Um,
Woo!
uh, my wife and I, our anniversary is coming up. Last year, as some of you know, I was in the hospital for my anniversary. Um, it was a room with wheelchairs. This time, with God's blessings, this is where we are in Egypt. So uh,
Lovely.
praise God.
That
You
is a
know,
view. That is a view rather than the
it
hospital.
really is. It really is a
Yeah,
view and a
really
half.
thankful to God. Hi,
I
Ronki.
am.
Thanks for joining us. And Michael said it's not Bognor Regis for sure. Bognor Regis. Bognor Regis, Michael. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
lovely.
lovely. Bring us some sunshine. Happy. I don't know. I need all the sunshine I can get. Our anniversary is on Thursday. Um, it's a relaxing time as well. Very relaxing.
He says
We
that. He says relaxing, but then he's saying he's going to go quad biking. He's going to be doing all these stuff. So I don't know how relaxing that is. People always
but
say, I'm going to go away for a relaxing holiday, and then they do some crazy excursions, go quad biking, go paragliding.
one
They
day,
come
no,
back
two
tired.
days, 2 days, two
Mhm.
days. We'll do something. Everything else, we're gonna relax.
Good, good.
Yeah.
You
Well,
really
in the
do
mornings we
deserve
can
it.
relax as well, and most of the events are happening in the evening. So, yeah,
Yeah,
nightly
look
cola.
great.
Sorry.
Keely's saying that you look great. Welcome, Keely.
I all praises. Sometimes I look and I can see, sometimes my mouth seems to be going off to one side, but you know what? Listen, it can go off to 10 sides as long as I'm talking, you know. But it's a journey, and I'm on a long journey in the sun. It
So,
was raining down. It was raining down there, wasn't it?
it's been raining on and off all day.
Okay. We
Yeah.
didn't have any rain, by the way.
No,
No,
it didn't look like you did. It didn't look like you did.
no, no,
Anyway,
no.
enough,
Anyway,
enough already. Enough already. I was in Egypt in December, so here you go. You were there, I was there, so it's just one of those things.
I
So
know.
tonight's topic: 7 ways to love your spouse. And the
Mm,
reason why I'm looking forward to this topic is because I have conversations with people all the time about relationships. It's almost like I've become like a relationship guru. Do you know what I mean? It's just nuts.
mhm.
Like, I've got this book here. This one is phenomenal. I think I had that upside down. I don't think
No,
so.
it's blacked out. You're gonna have
Yeah,
to read it.
because
No.
of the background. The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work by John Gottman. John Gottman is a phenomenal teacher, him and his wife, actually. And then this one is Love Must Be Tough by James Dobbs. And it's like lots of stories in there about relationships that have been really challenging. Some of them was able to be repaired and others were not. I've got a few other books that are on the shelf. I think it's like 90 minutes minutes. The reason why they say 90 minutes is because 90 minutes road to success or something like that, road to successful marriage or something like that. The reason why they say 90 minutes is because it's like you can spend such a short space of time pouring into somebody and encouraging your spouse, you know, and it makes it a difference and an impact. So we're talking about this because I think, do you know what? I think that this is a subject that will always be revisited. I don't think that it's ever done, because we're talking about love, and love evolves. It's just not instant. It's just not always there. So it's a subject that I don't think will ever get tired of, or boring, or unnecessary. Do you get what I mean? So
Yep.
guys, one thing that we do ask for you to do, if you can, please, please, please share with your friends, family, colleagues, enemies, whoever. Just share.
And
And
to be interactive as
button.
well, you
Sorry.
know, and to be interactive. We want your comments as well, you know. And as I always say as well, if there's any subject that you want us to talk about, please put in the chat, drop us a line. If you know us personally, text us, WhatsApp us, whatever. If you want us to talk about a particular subject that's dear to your heart, or just because you want to be interactive with us, and we'll do that. You know, it's not just our show, it's a show for you guys as well. Um, we will keep it anonymous if it's personal to you as well. So we won't say, oh, it was Janine who said to, we'll never do that. Okay. Yeah. And now the disclaimer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just here to encourage and empower um, individuals like you. Hopefully, we can give you some nuggets that you can take away, apply them. But when you apply them, as I always say, don't bother come and cut for me neck. Yeah, we're only putting it out there. You know, there's always, if that didn't work, try a different way. You know, but the foundation of it is what we want to lay. Yeah, so you bounce off it, because we're all individuals. We're not saying say it this particular way, you know, and it's going to work, you know. But that's my declaration. Don't cut me neck. Yeah.
Declaration, disclaimer. So yeah, for me, exactly the same thing. You know, when we say we're not experts, it's because, like I said, I'm becoming like a relationship guru. People's coming and asking me advice, but I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of research, and so, you know, anything that I share with you is experience or knowledge that I've gained, or people that have just shared their experiences with me, and you know, we've kind of worked through them. So, you know, anything that I do know, I will share with you, and that's it. I just think that it's good for you guys to know that we are putting it out there. It's up to you whether you want to pick up what we're putting down and try it. You know, there's no harm in trying something new, trying something different in order to evolve your relationship. So that's it, really. So we are going to crack on with today's episode: 7 ways to love your spouse. So the caption next to it is, what does the Bible say about it? Both myself and my brother were believers, and so we believe the God that has created us, really, he's given us a manual on how to love. You know, anything that we have,
Absolutely.
you have a phone, you get a manual, they tell you how to work that manual.
That's
So
right.
that we try to do our own thing, but why not go back to the drawing board? Why not go back to the master's plan? It's his plan. He's created us to love. He is love. And so we have basically gone back to the word of God and looked at what God says and how we ought to love. And you know what? When we bring this up, it's down to you whether you want to love in accordance to your creator. It's down to you whether you want to take up what we're putting down. But I can guarantee you, your way is not the right way. I can guarantee that.
Unless it's in alignment
Yeah, and no, when
to
I say
what?
your way, I mean your way, not God's
Yeah.
way. Your
Yeah.
way will never be the right way. And the reason why I say that is because we can just look at the state of the world and we can say the way that the world has gone and the way how people have said to love has caused so much destruction and so much heartache, brokenness in our world. And so, yeah, we're just going to bring it back, strip it back to basics, and we'll have this conversation. And you guys can say, your thoughts and feelings surrounding it. And the thing is that everything is good. Like everything that we are going to share with you is good. There's no negativity in it. So I can't see why
Absolutely,
it wouldn't
absolutely.
be a good thing to implement. Do you get what I
Yeah,
mean?
and apply this. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so do you want to go ahead and read the scripture then, Paul?
All right.
So
So
we're
that
taking from First
I
Corinthians
yeah,
13.
we're doing two versions. I normally do the King James, but I'm going to do the NIV today.
And I'll do the
And
message then.
yeah, and it's coming from First Corinthians chapter 13, and it starts at verse 4 of what we our subject matter today. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves.
Awesome.
That's to verse 4. I mean, 4 to 6 and
Six.
7. Yeah, to 7.
Should be seven.
Yeah, yeah, 4 to
So
7.
for those of you who want a little bit more clarity, we thought that we would also share it in the Message Bible. And it starts off by saying, love never gives up. Love cares for others than for themselves. Love does not want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't revel when others grovel, takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always, always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. So that's the Message version. So it just breaks it down a little bit more, so
Kind
that
of elaborates a little bit more on what it's saying. It's just like the NIV is elaborating from the King James and and the NIV, the Message one is elaborating on the NIV. You know,
yeah, so
so
it's giving you a little bit more
a
clarity.
little bit more. So what I did was break it down into individuals. Individuals sing 7 different areas, and the first one I wanted to bring up, and my wife will be joining me as well tonight for the first time.
Yay!
Yeah, first time live. Um, so I'm going to take my time in reading this because I want her to read some of this as well. Anyway, patience, bearing or enduring pain, difficulty, provocation, or annoyance with calmness, marked by or exhibiting calm endurance of pain, tolerant and understanding. So imagine that it's saying bearing or enduring pain. This bit here, hold on 1 second. Tell me I closed it down. Have you got the NIV there, Debbie? Again.
Yeah,
Oh, it's all right. I got it now.
go ahead.
Love is patient.
Hmm.
So we're saying love can bear or endure pain. Love, through patience, you'll endure difficulty, provocation, and some of us can testify to being provoked by our spouses. Yeah. But you'll bear it because of love, true love, because we have uh, an idea of what we think love is, and that's what we gravitate to and we do. So if you lick a man in his head, you know, and or later on, you say, I'm sorry about it, Yeah. I love you. Now, is it that you are enduring um or a difficult situation, you know, um, with someone annoying you? Are you calm? Um, None of us want to endure pain, but we'll have conflict of interest, in the marriage. And sometimes being on a humanistic or human as we are, we will say the wrong things. We will press someone's button. But if we can add these principles, this particular one in being patient, because none of us are perfect. And in our imperfection, when we look at a mirror and we know that we're imperfect, then how is that we want a perfect wife or a perfect husband that don't annoy you, that don't do this and don't do that? You know, I say all the time. I say I must really annoy Catherine at times. You know, and the reason why I said sometimes I'm you got my nerves as well. But that's a trick. We know how to balance that out. You know, you coming in, you coming, yeah. Um, yeah, it's one of those things when you're being patient, you know, waiting and enduring, and know that it will come in the end. Well, here's
I
my wife.
will. Go ahead. Welcome, Catherine. Where are you? Welcome,
It's
welcome,
it.
welcome. You have to slide over a bit. Hey, with your shy self. You're not even shy, that's the thing. You're not. But what I wanted to say, when you was talking about enduring like pain and that within the with like explain that, because I think that we definitely have to explain that we're not talking on the level of domestic violence. We're not talking on the
No,
level where someone is abusive towards you. We're not talking on that kind of level. And I think that sometimes when you read the definition of love from the biblical perspective, it sounds like sacrifice on such a high level.
mm,
The reality is love is sacrificial. That is the reality. Doesn't have to sit well with you. You're not going to really like it. You have to grow into it. However, what we are not saying is what you have to endure is abuse. We're not saying that you
abuse.
have to endure
No,
abuse at all. Pain, whether it's
or pain.
physical,
Yeah.
whether it's
Hmm.
emotional, whether it's psychological, we're not saying that you must endure that, because that is not biblical at all. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I'm just reading a definition of what they've put down there. You know.
Yeah.
Um, should I go on to the next one?
Yeah. Well, I will do kind. So the next one is, well, love is patient, love is kind. And I think that everyone can have a definition of what kindness is. Do you get what I mean? And this is
Mm,
why it's important for us to, like, not because anyone's silly, but I'll be honest with you, there are certain words that I use. And when I go and I look at the real in-depth meaning of it, I'm not actually living that out. I'm not actually fulfilling what the word says, not to its fullest potential. And also, like, if you've got a mobile phone, all of us got a mobile phone, we do not use all of the functions on the phone. So when we speak about patience and we speak about kindness, you might just deal with one element of that patience or that kindness. But what I believe that God wants us to do is encapsulate the whole kind of patience and the whole kind of kindness. And so the definition here um, is mild, gentle, tender, compassionate. And I guess there's more, because you can go on to be talking about be generous, helpful, caring, thoughtful. All of these attributes are kindness. You know, sometimes people can be helpful but not compassionate. You know, some people can be gentle but not generous. Kindness encapsulates a lot, you know. And I think that sometimes I speak for myself, that I will demonstrate some kind of kindness but not in its entirety. So I think that it's important for us to look at how we are doing that, because there's different, at different times you're going to need to manifest different types of kindness. Do you get what I mean? You're going to need to be gentle at some times, you're going to need to be compassionate, you're going to need to be helpful. And if you just think, well, kindness is just me being helpful, when that person might not feel, when that person doesn't actually need you to be helpful, but they need you to be compassionate, if your definition of kindness is just me being helpful, then you're going to be saying, but I am being kind, I am being kind because I'm being helpful. That's how I demonstrate my kindness. And I say that because there is, it's not just one dimensional. That's the point I'm making. None of the words that we're going to be using is one dimensional. And if we are looking at Christ as our forerunner, as the one who has shown us love, who has shown us love, then we have to realize that it's just not one element. There's many elements of kindness. And so this is what we need to demonstrate in our marriages with our spouses. We need to show many areas of kindness, not just one area. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts, Catherine? What are your thoughts?
Sonia said, good to see you as well. What's your thought?
You look like if you was a fox in the headlights there. You just like frozen.
She does speak, you know.
I know.
She does. Everyone, she does speak. Yeah.
Catherine's
That's
acting like this is really painful.
well, you know, the thing is that Catherine's never been on. I mean, when I first came on, I was so nervous, you know, and I think I mumbled and fumbled and everything else like that. And I don't know, but we're all different. We're all different. You know, Catherine's
Well,
here. When she picks up the courage, if she does, then she'll say something.
she's just showing her pretty face, just smiling. She's been the help me. So Trevor
Trevor, yeah.
actually said that type of kindness is sometimes another form of ego. What kind of kindness are you talking about? You said that kind of kindness is sometimes another form of ego. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. So what are your thoughts on that, Paul, in terms of kindness and showing kindness in your marriage and the various attributes to kindness?
See, it's funny. There's a song that comes to my mind that we sing. I won't harm you with words from my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the things that come out can be unkind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to catch, you know, ourselves from doing, and not saying in the heat of the moment unkind things, you know, but stop and think, how is this going to be received, you know? And some people say, well, no, in the heat of the moment. Let me tell you something. In the heat of the moment, we can stop and think, because love is patient. We can be patient with someone, you know, and say, yeah, I might feel like this. I just want to cost them off.
Mm.
But you're in a partnership, you're in a togetherness. If I said it to someone the other day, if I lose, Catherine loses. And if Catherine loses, I lose, you know, because this is a union. So if I harm her with the words, the negativity, like I have in the part, way back, way,
And it take it way
so
back.
far back, way back in time, you know, it can leave the residues forward. So 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it's unresolved because what you said marked and marred that particular person, you know. So it's not that it can't be resolved. Obviously, having a partner that is open and honest to say, you know, when you said that to me, this is how I felt, you know, and you thrashed out until that's gone into the sea of forgetfulness, never to come up again, you know. And that's part of what we just read as well, that it doesn't hold a record of wrongs, you know, but love doesn't hold a record of wrong. So I think that, you want to say something?
I think sometimes there's a different standard when it comes to marriage, and the standard's lower. Um, just going back to um, what you said in with the no, I won't harm me with the words of my mouth, and people saying in the heat of the moment, when we're at work, if we're talking to a friend or in a store, or just, there may be times we want to say something or do something at school, but we won't. We'll hold back because we know if we say A, then it's going to end in B, and we don't want the consequences or the situation to escalate, because then it'll turn out negative, whatever. However, but when we're married, we don't look at sometimes we don't look at our spouses the same way with that same care. It's just, say whatever. I guess sometimes it's because it is a safe place, because this is the one person that you can just be 100%, naked and bare with. But in the same vein, we can also abuse that position by not taking adequate care of our spouses, by just letting off and saying whatever, just expecting them to be okay with it, or you have to deal with it because you're my husband or you're my wife, and God said, when it isn't so, because you have to be patient, but we still have to be respectful. We have to treat them with care more than anybody else. We have to do that, and sometimes that doesn't happen. I failed to do that, and also when Debbie was talking about the acts of kindness, just being kind, saying kind things. Sometimes that, I think for me, that crosses over into people's love languages, and depending on your love language, you may that could be your acts of kindness. A person, I give the acts of kindness, so this is me and this is how I do it. And if they don't want it, then when you're saying we do, sometimes compassion is called for or tenderness is called for, and it is always taking ourselves back to the word, back to God's requirements, back to what he says, his order. And that's where the challenge is for a lot of people, is going back to God's order and not going off their feelings or skirting around doing what we're supposed to be doing, doing it in part, as Debbie said. So it's just, it's just a lot in there.
Absolutely. I think that at different times you're going to demonstrate different types of kindness, like I was saying before. So at times your husband or your wife might need you to be caring towards them. They may have had a bereavement or something. You need to show compassion. You need there's sometimes when they might be feeling quite vulnerable, and you need to show tenderness. You need to speak to them with tenderness. And so it's not just one dimensional. It's there's layers to it, and the more you lean in to God and his word, he will start to teach you and show you how to do this. And the thing is as well is our standard for ourselves, what we want for ourselves, we ought to be giving that to somebody else, period. Like I've heard it being said so many times, oh, you don't do that for me though. You don't do that for me. But why not demonstrate that you can do that for somebody instead of expecting them to demonstrate it to you first? Do you get what I mean? So
But it doesn't matter if someone does something that you don't do. There is no measure. You appreciate what the person has done, and you translate or give that back, in whether in a different way or in the same way. Like if Catherine decides to make me dinner, uh, and then she turned around at the end of it and say, "You don't really make dinner for me, though, do you?" Then you shouldn't have made the dinner in the first place, because now you're measuring what I do and what you do, you know. But moreover, in the appreciation of what she's done, I should stop and think, I'm going to make dinner for her one day as well. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. Baby, sit down. Let me make you dinner, or just get up and wash up, or whatever it is. You demonstrate that you care for that person with these acts of kindness, if you want to put it like that, you know, or these things that you do, you know.
So I'm going to go back to what Trevor was talking about. He made a statement and he said that kindness is sometimes another form of ego. And then he went on to explain when they tell you that they're being kind but not loving. Do you follow that? So they're saying to you that they're being kind, but it's not coming across like that because they're not being loving in what they're actually doing. And then
love in action, you know. So you
it's
know what
action.
when someone's being kind and when they're being unkind, you know.
You
And
follow it up with actions.
you do. Go ahead.
Michael said it's about establishing your partner's needs first. We all fail at this sometimes, but it's good. It's a good achievable standard. Absolutely. That's the thing, Michael. It's a standard that we aspire to. If you don't have no goals, no plans in mind on how you're going to love your partner, you're going to fall short all the time. The thing is, that's the standard. That's what we're working towards. If you just say, oh, I'm just going to love them like I loved my last partner or like I've loved everybody else, you know, that one, they're a different person. Two, if your love has been warped, if you've gone through any kind of traumas, if you've gone through any kind of pain, the way how you love people will become warped. It will become tarnished. And so you have to go back to the word. What does the word say in terms of me loving my partner? Because that way you won't go wrong. If you're aligning yourself with that, you won't go wrong. You will always come back to truth. You will always come back to where you should be.
And you know, Debbie, what I was thinking about is that some people on here might not be believers, or if
Absolutely.
watching this afterwards, this is still a good template.
You don't have to be.
You know,
you don't
a
have
good
to be.
template to be kind with your words and actions and things that you do. Be patient. You know, all these things, as Michael said, and you just said as well, they're achievable. You know, it's not just well, I can't do that because this or that. If you, I was thinking about this earlier on. People, especially people get married or no, people, men and women who come together. Yeah. When you turn around to that person and you say, I love you, what does love really look like? Do you know what love looks like? When you're saying, will you marry me because I love you? We done a show on expectations, you know, and sometimes people confuse, in my opinion, expectations to what love is. Yeah. Because, and I say that because this is what I expect, but love isn't selfish. Love is more giving. It's not what the person's going to give me, it's what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. What they're going to sow into me, what I'm going to sow into you. You know, that was a thought today, you know, that I had, because I used to be like that. I used to be expecting this and this, and
Most
because
people do.
that's my picture of love.
Yeah.
That's my picture of love. You know, if they do this, and if Catherine does this and this and this and this, and she'll love me. She obviously loves me. You hear it from some people. You know, he loves me because he bought me a new car. You know, he loves me because he bought me a diamond ring. And that's materialistic thing. You know, but if you get to the not in all cases, as I'm saying, you take off the layers. Is he patient? Is he kind or she kind with their words? You know, etc. And the things that we're gonna go through as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ronki said, she said, so what are your thoughts on the age-old saying, you've got to be cruel to be kind? Sometimes people feel that by highlighting their partner's shortcomings, which may hurt them, is for their good. Do you want to answer that?
No.
So
I
being
think it
Hold
depends.
on, hold on, hold on.
go on then, Catherine.
It all depends on how you say it, and if it's in the heat of an argument, no. If
Hmm.
it's maliciously said, no. But if it's, I think, as I heard said earlier, sitting down, having a conversation, and saying, there's a few things. There's something I need to talk to you about, something that may be affecting me, or something that you may have said or done, or this thing that you're doing, it's affecting me in this way, and I want to know maybe if there's anything that I'm doing to contribute towards that. Are you aware that you're doing this thing? Sometimes we have to just tread. We just have to use wisdom and not tread carefully. Use wisdom
Yeah.
when talking to our spouses about things, because sometimes they actually don't know that
Yeah.
what they are saying or doing actually affects you.
Hmm.
And then other times they do know, and they themselves are being malicious with it.
Hmm.
And so then you have to address it as that. But if within yourself you look at it from, like, I'm just going to talk to you about this thing and I'm not trying to hurt you, if it hurts them in the process, it's when let me say, if we when we get offended or upset when somebody says something, generally it's because we know that we're wrong,
Yeah.
and there's something. So if they do become offended, then they know.
Hmm.
But when you're married to somebody, when you're with somebody and you're relating with somebody and you spend a lot of time, generally we know what rubs each other up the wrong way.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it just depends on how we say it, because sometimes we do have to for the health of any marriage, any relationship, whether it's with a child, a parent, your spouse, a friend. If there's an issue, it needs to be addressed. It's just on how
Oh,
we address it.
yeah,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
that's
Well,
and I agree. I agree with what Catherine's saying, and I think that that old saying, "Being cruel to be kind," it's you're going to have to express what somebody is doing at some point in time. But the thing is, the reason why this can be really difficult and challenging is because if there is a wound there,
Mm.
and you express to that person something that presses that wound or causes a trigger, you're going to
mm,
get a natural response to somebody
Mm.
that's in pain, and then it's your duty now to make sure that you do not respond to that pain in a
Mm.
negative way.
yeah,
Because you're going to say
yeah,
something to somebody and it is going to trigger them, it is going to cause them to probably lash out verbally or have their back up or whatever. But then it is down to you to realize that I'm going to bring this to them, and there's a possibility that their response to this might be quite negative, and it's down to you to be able to deal with that situation. So before you think of going and saying something to somebody that is possibly going to hurt them, but it's the truth, because
hmm
with if somebody loves you, they're going to tell you the truth.
they're going to
Nobody
tell you the truth. That's right.
don't want you to be telling them no lies so they don't get better, so they don't heal. Nobody don't really want that. They want people who's going to speak truth to them. However, that truth is going to open up that wound, and that wound is going to need to be healed. And if you're going to open up that wound, if you're going to speak truth that is going to hurt that person, not because you caused that wound, because sometimes it's not because you've caused that wound, it could be a wound from the past. However, if you know that you're going to do that or attempt that, then you need to be in a position, in a place to be able to deal with what comes back.
Exactly, exactly.
And
Well, it's
so
funny because I thought to myself, no, if you finish what you're saying, Debbie.
yeah, and when that comes back at you, you now need to show kindness, you need to be patient, and you need to be
Patient.
compassionate. You need to be able to be doing those things in order for that person to heal, because you've now opened up a wound. You've now accessed an area of their life that they probably had covered, that they wasn't prepared to share. You've seen it and they haven't addressed it, and now that it's addressed and out in the open, you both need to deal with that and talk about that and work through that.
Because it's funny, I was looking at the word cruel, and I just one of the definitions. causing or characterized by severe pain, suffering, or distress. And none of us want to cause, because if you're saying it maliciously, of course you want to cause
Mhm.
pain and distress. So you have to, when you're telling someone the truth about what they're doing or something, it's what is your motive
Mhm.
in telling that person? And then
Absolutely.
it jumps on the back of exactly what you say,
Yeah.
that if you're going to say it, then, and it comes, and that person, it triggers a person, and there's a whiplash, then
Be prepared for the outcome. Be,
yeah,
be
yeah,
prepared for the outcome. And the thing is, it's absolutely true what you're saying, because the reality, if you go and you say something to somebody and your motives isn't right, that person will probably know that your motive isn't right,
yeah.
because of how you've said it. And all you're going to get is something that is negative. You're not going to get anything productive from that. Pointless.
Mm,
All you're gonna, you could, I remember when I was in the abusive marriage, I learned how to manipulate. I didn't even know how to manipulate. I learned how to manipulate. I learned how to have an argument. I learned how to get you out of the house. If I didn't want you to be in the house, I knew how to start an argument, because you taught me well. And I would know what to say in order for you to get annoyed, for you to leave the house, for me to say I've got peace and freedom in my in
mm.
my head. And
It's funny you saying that, because some men
they do that. Start arguing.
like an argument to get out.
Hmm?
Right? You know what? I don't need to sit here and listen to none of
Absolutely.
this. Yeah,
Mhm.
and gone.
Yeah,
He knew that's what he wanted in the first place.
absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I don't know many women who do that. Funny enough,
Mhm. Yeah, I
um,
learned. I didn't. I
you're
didn't
the
know
first
about that.
person I know that has
Yeah, I
said,
didn't
yeah,
know about that. I learned that. Do you get what I mean? And I learned it and I used it to my advantage, which was a
I
bad thing. I wanted to share this other book, because when
yeah.
you were
No, I was going to say,
speaking,
I hope we answered Ronky's question.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, let us
Ronky, I
know
hope
if
we
you did,
let
Ronky.
us know.
So this is another book, and it says all about love. Like I said, I've become a bit of a love guru. I've got all these books here. Um, this one, there's a part in it where it's talking about you loving someone versus you having strong feelings for them. And they said that oftentimes people have strong feelings for individuals but not actually loving them. And the reason why they're saying that is because if you was to align yourself with the word of God, excuse me, if you was to align yourself with the word of God, you'll realize that you're really falling short, and you're probably not really loving people the way that you think that you are. So yeah, this one is called All About Love by Bell Hooks. That's another good book. Yes, she said, that was very good response. So let's go to what Trevor was actually saying. Trevor was saying, telling the truth, it's important, but it's the delivery of what needs to be said. He said that's
Mm,
important. So go on to the next one now, Paul, because we spent quite a bit
I
on
know.
both of them, and time is
um,
winding up, but that's fine.
well, rejoices with truth. That's what the next one is, a double
Yeah.
one. So a firm belief in the integrity, ability, or character of a person or thing, confidence or reliance, the condition and resulting obligation of having confidence placed in one in which confidence is placed, as it says. So that was the word truth.
Hmm.
Yeah, rejoices in truth. So we rejoice in integrity,
Absolutely.
the ability or character of a person or thing, which is truth.
Hmm.
If love rejoices with truth, I think that's what we got up here. Let me just read it again. That bit.
Yeah, it is.
One second. Yeah.
It said, "Love does not delight in evil, but
In
rejoices in truth."
in
With
truth,
with the truth. Sorry.
with the truth.
Hmm.
See, so going on, hang on, is that it? Yeah. So we know that it's not gonna, truth doesn't look negative. You're not going to say something and rejoice in your husband or your wife's downfall. Watch her, she's crying. I remember someone said that to me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you stay out there and cry. Why would you enjoy? Why would you rejoice in pain
Mm-hmm.
or inflicting that kind of negativity, and you're grinning about it?
Mm-hmm.
For, you see, I'm not saying it marred my mind, but it made me remember. And there's other things that I remember that people were rejoicing in it. You know, I'm a divorcee, you know, unfortunately, but fortunate I found a wonderful woman now. Um, but there were those that was like, and it came back. It came back to me. I heard things, you
Mm-hmm.
know. No one walked my shoes. No one knew what. And we will do a subject on that, by the way. A show on divorce eventually. You
Yeah.
know, it does not rejoice in negative. It rejoices in truth. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Do you want to elaborate any more on that?
No, I think you did perfectly
In
well
which
with that.
confidence is
Yeah,
placed?
I think that you did really well with that. So the next one is it always protects.
Yes.
So when you love someone, you always will protect them. You always will have their back. Even in situations, yeah, where you might be out and your husband might be or your wife might be acting the fool. You always have their back. You always protect them. You
Mm,
always speak good of them in front of them and behind their back. Sometimes that can be really challenging if you are experiencing challenges in your marriage. It's easy for you or for us to express, and anytime you're expressing yourself about or expressing a situation, you're always the victim. Always, always going to be the victim.
yep.
And people who you're sharing that with always have to identify that there is another side to the coin, that this isn't just the side that I'm seeing. What did you say? What did you say to them? But you always have to be a united front. You always have to be showing that you are protecting your husband or your wife. And so protect, this is a dictionary, like the Oxford Dictionary, many definitions here. It says keep safe, keep from harm, safeguard, shield, preserve, defend, shelter, screen, secure, fortified. It, all of those words are phenomenal. It's even got hedge, like the Bible says, of like that, God will put a hedge round about you, care for, tend to, insulate. All of these things are what we ought to be doing. And you're probably not going to be able to do all of those, hands down. You're probably not going to be able to do all of them. But there are key ones that we should be striving for. We should be making sure that we've got our partners back, that we are safeguarding them, we're shielding them, we're making sure that we are defending them. And
Mm,
I think that it's important, because if you're not doing that, your partner's not going, you're not going to feel like, if you're one, your partner's not going to feel as though you are for them in any situation, that you will run ricochet over them in front of people. You'll talk bad about them. Somebody was saying to me recently that they was really upset because their partner belittled them in front of other people. And I said, did you have the conversation with them about that? And they said, well, no, they know that they belittled me. And I said, Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. No, 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 no. You need to have the conversation, because in that moment, if you was laughing with them and they was laughing and everybody was laughing, they may not have known that they belittled you. They may not have known that. So it's important for you to go back and say, do you know, when this happened the other day, this is how it made me feel. I felt quite belittled, and maybe you might not have known that because it was like in the moment and everyone was laughing and so forth. But I did kind of feel a way about that. And it's for and it's for them to address that and apologize and say, do you know what,
Mm.
that wasn't my intention at all. I'm really sorry. I will make sure that that doesn't happen again. But do not assume that that person knows. Do not assume that, because if everybody's laughing and it seems like if it's a fun moment, you know, oh, my wife did this and she was falling down and she, you know, it's important to go and visit that, because you're coming to me, like I said, like the relationship guru. You're coming to me and you're saying to me, oh, this is what happened. And you know what my first thing I said? Did you say that to them? Did you tell them that that's how it
Mm.
made you feel? And they said no. And I said, I think that you need to, because you're coming to me, and this is why you need wise people
Cancer.
around you, people who are going to
Yeah.
be for your marriage. Because
Mm.
I could have been like, what do you mean he did that? He's out of order, that's wrong, da da da. But no, I said, you're coming and telling me I'm not the person that needs to know this. He needs to
See,
know. He needs
it
to know.
is.
And let me just finish. And
Mm.
so she didn't feel as though he had her back in that moment. But in the future, moving forward, there might be a situation and a circumstance that comes up, and he can and you can see that he's got your back. But it's so important, especially in public, to have your partner's back, to make
Mm.
sure that they feel protected at all times, because that is that's biblical, to protect your partner, to protect your marriage at all costs. Go ahead, and then I'm
Because
going to.
some people think that it's just the man's job to protect, but it's both of it's like when you are married,
Joint responsibility.
it's a joint responsibility. I mean, Catherine was talking about this the other day, because when you have problems, you want someone to talk to, so you find someone to talk to. The wrong part is when you run down the whole list of what the person's doing, and the person who's talking is not pro your marriage.
As Debbie just said.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like you said, pro your marriage. So speaking like what you did, is speaking into that person, to go back to that person. And if you have spoken to them and they still don't respond, or whatever, it comes out negative, they're speaking negatively, that person you're speaking to, that friend, especially that we have friends that we talk to, is always driving you back into your marriage,
Absolutely.
not taking you as a passenger in their car and going the other way. You
Absolutely.
know, we, I've been guilty. You know, we was talking
Me
about this
too. I
the
think
other day.
we
You
we
know,
all can say that we've
yeah,
done.
yeah. And you know what we said is that I will never do that. I will protect
Mm-hmm.
my wife,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that I won't speak words about her negatively to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the conversation. If I'm upset about something, I should be able to come to
Totally.
Catherine and tell her what I'm upset about, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and in the hope that we can resolve it. Then, if we can't, then we jump back to what I was saying in the first place, the patience, yeah, and we can revisit it. Because it's all right to say, well, you know, we're not agreeing on that. Let's revisit it down the road, because it just seems to be getting heated, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Absolutely.
it's left. The
Mm-hmm.
pause is there. You both are aware that you're going to revisit it at some point, you know, in the hope that you resolve it next time. But guess what? You're further along than where you was. It might take 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions of
Mm-hmm.
talking with each other before you conclude.
Yeah.
But at least that you've started the journey of resolving whatever issue that it was, or
Yeah.
issues that it was.
Can I say
was gonna,
this? Can I
let
say
me
this?
just read.
Go.
Let me just read this.
Go on.
To keep from being damaged, attacked, stolen, or injured, guard, defend, to keep from being subjected to difficulty or unpleasantness, to keep from being curtailed, cur,
Curtailed.
curtailed or exposed to risk.
Yeah.
That was part of the protect. But go on.
Absolutely. Um, and I like the fact that it actually says shield as well, you know,
Mm,
because shield for me is like you covering them, you know, making sure that whatever's coming their way, whatever adversity,
mm,
whatever words that people might say, you're shielding them. So that could look like when somebody might say something, or somebody at work, or something that might happen, and they come to you and you have that conversation, you're shielding them in a way that you're speaking to them and you're protecting them from those negative thoughts. So, you know, there's been times when my husband had come home from work and he was saying, oh, this is what the manager was saying and this is what was happening and so forth. And through my words, I'm able to shield and to protect him from those negative things, because I'm speaking life into him and saying, no, that person's wrong. No, what that person said isn't correct. And maybe this is their definition or their perception, but this is actually the truth, you know. And I liked what Ronki said here. She says, protection is key for me. I protect my husband when I see people taking advantage of him. If it hurts him, it hurts me. And that's the truth. That's how it should. That's how it
absolutely.
should be. And that fosters the ability to be able to protect and to shield, because that person, that loved one, is being hurt, and because they're being hurt, you feel the necessity to make sure the necessity to make sure that you shield them and protect them, because that affects you. If your husband or your wife is being affected out there, trust me, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. So
Should.
Michael says, acts of service, Proverbs 31:10, the capable wife, she looks after and cares for her family. Absolutely. And Trevor says, we're still learning how to love. It's possible to fall down a rabbit hole of negativity if not nipped in the bud. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And this is why we wanted to, that's why I said in the beginning, we're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always becoming, and this subject will never grow old, because it's love, and there's so much depth to it that we
Hmm.
you know, we wouldn't be able to even exhaust it by having this conversation, because just even when we spoke about kindness, the dimensions to that was huge. You know what I mean? If we was to break down each one of that and break down all of what protects looks like and how we're going to do that, how we're going to navigate that in our marriages, we'll be here all day, all week, all month. So we've gone the hour. I think that we've got a couple of more to do. So let us just
No,
do that.
we've got 4 more. If you
Okay.
want, we can do the part 2.
No, I'm not going to do the part 2.
No,
Let's
you don't want to.
trust, hopes, and
Trust, hope,
preserve
preserve.
is 3.
Oh, it is 3. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I'm
Yeah,
looking at this. I
no
got
worries.
I got it twice. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead with trust then.
It's almost just a bully me. Yeah.
I said that.
You know
I said that
where
with
we
love.
are.
I said it.
Where
I
we
said
are.
it. I said it
Where,
very kindly.
where we are. It's 25 to 12 at night.
Really,
Yeah.
it's 3 hours, isn't it?
Mm, to
What did you want to
12.
do a part 2 and do the other 3 next week? Look at Catherine.
No,
Catherine saying
not
yes.
now. But if you wanna go, and then it's all right. Okay. Yeah. Catherine's gonna go for now.
I'm
Okay.
falling
Good
asleep.
night. Good
Getting
night.
back.
All right.
Say good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thanks for your input.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Yeah. She was falling asleep for
That is
real.
beautiful. That's nice. Ben said, without love, we have nothing. And he's saying, well done, guys. Absolutely.
Thank you.
God is love.
So we're on trust.
Yeah.
Trust. Firm belief in the integrity, ability, or character of a person or thing, confidence or reliance, the condition and resulting obligation of having confidence placed in one. One is one in which confidence is placed. Trust. Without that, a whole marriage can mash up. Everything can mash
Tell
up.
me about it.
Yeah, can mash up. I was thinking the other day that sometimes I'm guilty. I'm coming from this, so I'm talking from experience. I used to say I trust,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm searching this stuff. Yeah, I say I trust, but I might be listening behind the door. Yeah,
Mhm.
looking looking in your pockets if you got any man give you a paper with his number on it. You know, and I know some of you are laughing at me when I say this. Someone said, who said it? Trevor said, do a part two. Too late. um, you, I created things in my mind. You know,
But
some
they
of it
say
I
whatever you
create.
look for, you find, though.
Yo,
That's what
you
they
will
say.
find something, all right. I'm telling you. Yeah, I remember searching some of the stuff and something that I didn't know about them from. Listen, before I met them, before I ever met them. Yeah, years
And then
before
you're
I
like,
met
I
them.
knew it, I
And
knew it, I
yeah,
knew it.
you didn't tell me about that about you. Well,
I
flipping
didn't
they
need
might
to.
have forgotten all about that happened. Yeah,
I didn't need
but I
to.
was searching. I was searching, and I went deep into the computer because I said, "Yeah, I got nothing to hide." So I thought you must be hiding something. Yeah, everybody's got something. I'm gonna find yours,
You find the skeletons.
and I found something, and I made something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as much as I said I trusted, I couldn't have trusted
Mhm.
to be looking so deep to find something, some dirt on someone. Listen, and I almost said it how came into my mind. Yeah,
Mhm.
when we go, my I will, I'm so raw sometimes, but when we go toilet, my poo stinks as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna come. I go in there and you might have pooed, and I say, "Oh, that smells
No,
really
no.
bad." But guess what? When you walk in on me, guess what you say? "Oh, that really smells." You know.
Mhm.
So I've got things in my past that is my past. You
Mhm.
know, and if somehow it comes up in a conversation, yeah, it's not that you shouldn't trust or distrust me because now I didn't say it. But moreover, it's irrelevant now and
Yeah.
don't need to make anything more of something that belongs in the past. And here now, if you don't trust your partner, that's something you need to look in yourself as to why. And if there is just cause, then you deal with that with the person.
Mhm.
You don't need to create a big movie um, over something that might even be small. And if it is big, there's always counseling to
Mhm.
try to build the trust up again. But don't create a movie over something that you don't even know, or
Mm.
you have a feeling. A
Yeah.
feeling is a feeling. Yeah, the sun could be shining outside, and you put on your clothes for summer in
Mhm.
winter, and you go outside and you freeze the backside off. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me read what Ronki said because I like
Yeah,
this as
yeah.
well. Thank you, Ronki. Trust, trust uh, ties into truth. If you're truthful and show honesty with your partner, it is more likely they will trust you and your actions. Absolutely.
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 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Um, our sister said, thank you, Debbie and Paul. Great topic. And Catherine, good night. Hope you are having an amazing time. See you all next week. That means that you're going to your bed, sis. Early sleepers. And then Trevor's basically said we all had
We all
a
had a
life
life before.
before
Yeah.
we got together. So I would say on trust that a lot of the times when people see, I think that the challenges are that people had a life before, and so when they come into relationships, their perception on how they're going to trust somebody can be a little bit warped. And based upon relationships and experiences and so forth, sometimes it's difficult for people to come in and trust you just like that. But if you're truthful, like what Ronki was saying, if you're truthful to that person, they can learn to trust you. If there are things like, I think, all right, let me put it this way, because I have lots of conversations with people about relationships. When people are talking to me, I don't just think it's because I'm knowledgeable, but I think also because I'm discerning. Sometimes people don't want to tell you everything about them or about a situation because they are worried that you're going to prejudge them. You're going to judge them
Absolutely.
in a certain way. So they hold back certain parts that then what they are sharing doesn't connect, so the dots don't connect, and then you know that there's something that's not right there. But it's not because they're not looking to be truthful, it's because of their insecurity and being fearful of being vulnerable because they may have been taken advantage of before. And this is something that you need to kind of unpick with people, but you also need to be able to be that safe space that people, your partners, able to share certain things, because Trevor said it, they had a life before you, and you might not know all what that life consists of. You might not know about abuse and traumas and pains. You might not know that. And so you might get a sense of that person not being totally truthful with you, but that doesn't mean that they're not trustworthy. They might be guarding themselves, and sometimes you have to unpick that, because I've seen this. I've seen it played out when I've counseled people, when I've coached people. They've said certain things and it doesn't make sense. The dots are not joining, and I'm like, there's something that they're not telling me, and I don't just naturally just think that this person isn't being honest. I over time I give them a safe space that they feel that it's okay, that they can actually share with me, because I wanted to throw that in there, because not every person isn't that seems as though they're not being truthful is because they're not trustworthy. Do you get what I mean? So I wanted to put that in there, because relationships are really difficult, and it can be really hard for some people to be vulnerable and be open, even after they get married, because sometimes people marry their representative, and when they get married, that's when they really find out who this person actually is. And they could be guarded. In marriage, your people are going to let their guards fully down, and you're going to see who these people really are in marriage. And you're going to have to take the rough with the smooth. You're going to have to try to understand this person, not just thinking, oh, this person's not telling me the truth. Why didn't they tell me the truth? There could be that vulnerability issue. There could be the fact that they've been wounded. There could be the fact that they are feeling insecure. And it's necessary to create that environment for that person to be able to thrive in and be open and transparent. So I wanted to throw that.
Because sometimes the things that people do, to them it's or it is quite shameful. You're embarrassed of what you've done, but you've done it and you've moved on, and you don't want to share something like that. And then someone finds, like I did, I found information out, but as Michael has
He
said,
said it, yeah.
I weaponized it.
Yeah.
I weaponized
Bringing up
it.
your partner's
Yeah.
sordid past when it's resolved is weaponizing the agenda and will cause harm to both. Absolutely.
Because whatever I find out, it's not now.
Yeah.
And
And what are you going to do with it?
And what am I going to do?
What are you
Exactly
gonna do with
that.
the information?
But it does take a place of
Only to belittle
maturity
them.
and understanding that those things, as dark as some of them might be for some, isn't your marriage, isn't your relationship here. By thinking, well, you done it then, there's a possibility that you could do it now. You shouldn't be with that person. If that's how you're going through your relationship, in saying they could do this and they could do that and they could do that, you've got yourself all messed up already. And that distrust is misplaced. Maybe you should look closer to yourself as to why it is that you have to, like I did, weaponize something or keep my eye on you, and your character and what you might do. And maybe I needed to look at myself first.
Absolutely.
Well, I did. Like with me, I did. Now I'm totally a different person, in especially with Catherine. What if I don't trust, then I'm never at peace.
No, that's right.
I'm never at peace.
That's right.
But once I stepped over this place of trust, that you can't control what anybody does. If someone does something, you can only deal with it when it happens.
When it happens.
Live.
I said that to
this
someone
is a live
recently.
event now.
Yeah.
Right now, this is live.
Yeah.
We'll deal with whatever happens. If it doesn't, it's a live event. This is where we can correct whatever we need to.
Absolutely.
But if it's past, the only thing you can do is delete it. Yeah. If we done a show and it was all messy, we have the opportunity to delete it. Yeah, exactly. So why don't you just delete whatever you know, whatever you found? Well, if you go look, then you're still in the same place. But you know what I mean?
The thing is, yeah, supposing that you met somebody and they said, like that they had 2 children, and you found out that they had 4 children and 2 of those children were adopted, but they didn't tell you, or they terminated 2 children, or something that they've done in their past that could possibly have an impact on your relationship. Because there were certain things, the reason why I asked that is because there are people that are carrying certain things that they've done in their past, and you don't know about them, you don't know about their past, but they're manifesting their wounds in the present. And so because they're manifesting their wounds in the present, it's impacting your relationship. And so now it's necessary to find out truth. And this person is like supposing you used to find out. All right, let me give you an example. So I know somebody who had 2 terminations, yeah, and they was pregnant, and they was having miscarriages, yeah, and then when they with the last child, they basically had to have like a stitch and all of this, and then the doctor was talking to them about the terminations, and so forth. And now they're married and they've got their husband and so forth there. Now the husband didn't know nothing about terminations or anything like that, and the doctor was saying that this could be a direct correlation to what's happened in your past. So that caused contention and friction, because now they're trying to have a child. They've had 1 miscarriage, and this one, they're having to have like a stitch and so forth. Now he wasn't aware of any of that, and a lot of her insecurities and a lot of her fears were being brought up because she's now pregnant and wanting to keep the baby, had a miscarriage and so forth. And it caused a big rift in their relationship, because none of that was spoken about. There's lots of stories, because I know somebody that had terminations and they couldn't have a child, and they didn't divulge that to their husband, and then all of these kind of things. So I think that it is necessary in some occasions that your past is spoken about, because that person is able then to trust you in a way that I think in such a protective way as well, because if you've now brought up something from the past, that person can say, this person genuinely loves me, this person genuinely trusts me with their stuff. Do you get what I mean? That you felt safe enough to bring this up, even though it was something that happened in the past. I've seen it play out so many times that because people's past, when I say catch up with them, it's manifested in their relationships. And because they're not being truthful and honest with their partner about their past, it's impacting their relationship. So going back to what you were saying, not digging and looking for stuff to bring up, to throw at that person, but rather, if there is anything in the past, I think that both people should divulge things that would, well, sometimes you don't know it's going to impact your relationship, but yeah, there's just certain things that I think
Do,
is necessary,
do you think that
to share, because in that situation, when that came up, they was trying to have a child and they miscarried, and even after the first miscarriage,
there wasn't a conversation?
yeah, I said to them, I think that you might need to have that conversation and speak about your vulnerability and your insecurities about carrying a child and all of that. And they went against that, and then it came out, and that's what really got to her husband, because he was being your protector, he was trusting you, he was being there for you, and you wasn't secure enough to express that. And she said it was because of shame, because I felt ashamed that I'd done this.
So I'm just going to ask. Michael was saying, did she terminate or miscarry?
No, so the
She had a
history,
few terminations.
the history was 2 terminations, and then she miscarried, and then on the fourth child was where where the husband found out about the challenges there. Yeah.
See, I think a conversation like that, you're looking to have a baby, or you more than likely discussed it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that at that point, even if it's a miscarry, I've miscarried in the past, or in my life at some point I terminated a few children because of where I was.
Mm-hmm.
With myself. I'm not proud of it, because obviously if she feels shame, she wasn't proud of doing
Yeah,
that.
that's
But
right.
now you're with someone who you are saying that you want to have a baby with,
Family.
it is a conversation. It's going to be a conversation, or should be a conversation, as should I say, before it gets all technically sticky,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I like what Ronki said. That made me smile. So Trevor said you can't go forward staying in the past. True. But sometimes you have to revisit the past in order to go forward, though, because there's people that's got traumas there. Trevor again said there may be detrimental history to a new marriage, and that's what that was. It was very detrimental. On a lighter note, Ronki said, I know that because that was going a little
Yeah,
bit
it
deep.
made me laugh as well.
Yeah. True trust is sharing your mobile phone or computer password. And I was talking to someone about that recently, actually, and when we was talking about it, they was just like, yeah, but excuse me, why would they need to go in my phone? Why would they need to go into my phone? Well, they don't need to go into your phone,
They
but
don't need to.
supposing that something happened and you was at work or something and you left your phone at home, and they needed to go in the phone to send someone a message, or need to send you, whatever, get some information out of the phone or whatever. Give them your password, man. Give them your password.
Listen, it's funny you're saying that, because Catherine's got a new phone, and we've never had time to because she knows the password to my phones. Yeah, they're both the same. Um, but we were on the plane, coming to Egypt. No, not really. And I was listening to her phone because I hadn't my music player wasn't on there for some reason, and so she said, "Do you want my phone?" And it was closed, and it kept on clicking off, and I'm trying to turn the music back on, and then next thing you know, she gives me the phone. I didn't even say I'm doing it. Put your fingerprint in, and then she took the other phone, and I done that one as well, because we did this in the beginning as well, and and then you get lost in translation. Still get the passwords, or she told me the password, and I forget every time. Not sometimes, every time.
I like what Ronki said. Ronki said her and her husband's unlock code is the same. That just makes it so easy.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That just makes it easy. We won't forget it then. And that's
so it's funny
awesome.
you mentioning it.
So let us
let's throw these ones. Let's throw it out
throw
quickly. These ones. What did we done? Trust.
Who's
So
that
we got
hope?
to wish for a particular event that one considers possible. To have confidence goes back to trust. To desire and consider possible sentiment is what's that one? Expect. Hope is to expect.
Expectation.
Yeah. Do you want to just do the last one? Read that one, and we'll just do both of them at the same time.
Yeah. I haven't got anything for the last one. I was going to do hope.
All right. All right.
Did you read the last one?
Perseveres to persist in, or you got something to persist to persist in or remain constant to a purpose, idea, or task in the face of obstacles or discouragement. Another definition: to continue making an effort to do or achieve something even when the even when this is difficult or takes a long time. Yeah. So
it's
hope,
a continual effort.
You just have to have confidence in your partner that eventually they're gonna get there. Because on Thursday this week, Thursday is 10 years for Catherine and I of marriage. Praise God.
Amen.
But along the way, did I feel like jumping out? Yes. Did I feel frustrated? Yes. But do I love Catherine? So much so. So
you had a hope for the future.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And
hope
that kept me hoping that we would overcome these obstacles and these windy roads. And, I think it was it you that I saw today? Yeah, something that you put about the partner not sleeping in the bed, No, all those things is windy roads, And when you really stop and you think about it, that you're saying, don't sleep in my bed, or I'm sleeping next door, whatever else, where are you then? You're just on a windy road. How are you going to overcome that? That you got to have that hope that things will change.
Absolutely.
And endure it.
Yeah.
What does it say? To persist in or remain consistent to a purpose. You didn't get married for no reason.
Absolutely.
Your vows were
better for worse.
Better for worse, sickness, and like last week's show. Forever.
Yeah.
Till death do us
part. With the
part.
windy roads, with the ups and downs, with the bankruptcy, with whatever.
The trap doors.
You hope for better days, don't you? You hope that this is today, but tomorrow things will be better. That where we are now, or where you was before you even got married, you wasn't married before, then you've overcome obstacles and you've got married, and the hope just continues to grow. You just believe and you just trust that tomorrow there'll be better days. This is what it looks like now, but you know what? I believe that in the future there can be better
You,
days ahead. And
you
I
know
think
what, Debbie, with what you said, it's what came to my mind is, what does happy days look like, and push for that
yeah.
together. You
But
know,
you know what makes you hope? Do you know what makes you stay there? Is you hoping, but you believing and you speaking life. If you're
yes,
constantly speaking death, if
yes,
you're constantly saying this isn't going to work, we might as well go our own separate ways. You're not for me. This is rubbish. Da, da, da. The more you've
you
already,
speak that
those
negative.
seeds
Yeah,
have already been sown. All you're doing every time when you say that, you're watering that seed, and that seed is going
absolutely.
to become a tree, and
Yes,
then
it is.
that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the manifestation of what it is that you're speaking. So if you're speaking life into your marriage, if you're speaking hope, if you're speaking a future, if you're speaking the best things for your marriage, despite what you see now, despite the challenges that you're going through, but you believe and you hope that we will come through this. There will be better days.
Better
Then
days.
there will be better days, because your
See,
mind is your mind. What
mm,
you're saying to yourself, what you're believing is where you're going to gravitate to.
right,
And
absolutely.
so hope is necessary, but you hoping, you have to have belief, you have to have the faith that this is what it's like now. You know, I can just give so many scenarios where, you know, you wanted to pass your driving lesson, you wanted to pass your test, you hoped for that, you
Look at
remained
me.
consistent, you took your lessons, you did that, you know, and there was a hope in the future. Paul was driving for years, you know, having a hope in the future that one day, Lord knows I was praying that one day in the future he will pass his test. You know, that is a hope. There is a belief that it's like this now, but in the future it will be better.
I
Persevere.
had to, I had to get rid of the mindset of
That you couldn't.
what the difficulty that I was having,
Hmm.
because that paralyzed me
Hmm.
from going for my test.
Yeah.
Because I had a fear of failure, and I
Hmm.
thought, I can't reverse a car properly. And I drove all the years of good driving, really good driving, but yet I sowed that seed years before that. You know what? It's just parking, and I'm parking like a don, you know, but I'm still living in the past
Yeah.
of the negative thought that fear of failure. Fear. When I said, you know what, I ain't gonna drive until I pass I'm not gonna buy another car until I pass my test. And an
Mm.
opportunity came up, and I did it. I studied. I hoped for the best, and guess what?
Hmm.
The best happened. You know,
Hmm.
I passed my a, a ball. The tears that came to mind, because it was overcoming
That
a
obstacle.
negative thought that I kept.
Yeah.
But the hope was my
Hmm.
driving force,
Hmm.
excuse the pun,
Hmm.
of that I can do it.
But you know what?
I'm
When you
gonna
was
see better
thinking,
days.
when you was thinking that you couldn't, you remained stuck. You
Yes, I
didn't
did.
move
It
forward. You
paralyzed me in the
didn't.
place.
It
So
didn't benefit you.
read wrong as well, because she's gone this journey
Let's
with
have a
me
look.
of
Let's have a look.
driving, because she,
So let's
many
read the
times
first one. What did you say there first, Ronki? Hope for the future together, better together than apart, stronger as one,
longer as one,
together forever.
together forever.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
That's the
Sonia, I thought you was going to your
you
bed.
wanna
You got praying hands there. I thought she was gone to her bed. Good
you wanna
driving,
write that
Paul.
down,
Are you
Monkey, and keep that.
sure? Remember the junction you nearly killed me on? Actually, she said
Wow,
she did
wow.
that to
Why are
me.
you gonna bring it up
No
on here?
shade. No
Twice.
shade. No,
No,
no
twice,
shade.
you know. Yeah, twice. Twice. The
Um,
one just drove right across the road on the giveaway, because I didn't see it and know it. You know, that was a, that was the first one with
and
her
he
and
bought.
a friend of ours.
Remember, Daddy
Yeah.
used to say he bought his license in the raffle. He won his license in the raffle. That's what he used to say when people used to carry on bad on the road. Carol, Carol actually, she actually said, "Paul, you look so much like your mum."
Really?
um, So we're going to wrap up with perseverance. Thank you guys for staying on with us.
Staying on, yeah,
It has
absolutely.
been a long one, and I said it's an extensive subject. You know, we could be here all night, to be quite honest. So perseverance, continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failures, or opposition. The action or condition or an instant of persevering steadfast. And it speaks for itself, regardless of the faults, regardless of the failures, regardless of the difficulties. You persevere, you continue. This is what love looks like. Remember, we're talking about love. You persevere through it all. We're not talking about domestic violence, we're not talking about abuse, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about when there's conflict, when, you know, that you find resolutions to that, when there is, you know, disagreements because this person did this person did that, you know, any kind of conflict, you persevere. But to be quite honest, I think that because we live in a world that is so easy for people to bail out, people bail out. You know, last year they now have a no-fault divorce. You might have heard this on one of the other podcasts that we did, but they do a no-fault divorce. So after the first year of being married, you it's nobody's fault if you don't want to remain married, and you can be married. You can get a divorce in a year now. Whereas before you'd have to do like 2 years separation or something like that before you could even get a divorce. Now it's after a year. If you've been with the person after a year and you're thinking, nah, not really feeling you, you can then go ahead and get a divorce. That's the kind of world that we're actually living in. There's no perseverance in that. There isn't no long suffering. There is no, there is nothing. It's nothing. If I'm not feeling you, then divorce. That tells me that you was not in love in the first place. That tells me that you had strong feelings, for the person, and you perceived that it was love. If any of what we've shared today, that you are not operating in any of that, you've just got strong feelings for the person.
Strong
And that's all
feelings.
right, but just be honest that you just got strong feelings. That's
Exactly.
the truth. If you're not,
Because you have to be,
you know, because there's no point in lying to yourself. If you're not lining up with any of this, it's just strong feelings that are in motion there. If you're working, if you can see elements of that which you are fulfilling, then you can say, yeah, I'm actually loving that person.
If you didn't know any of this, then start trying to
Try to implement
them one by one, you know, because you can't do it all at once.
No,
you know,
it's not going to happen.
That's too much. But you know, start wherever you want. Actually, I don't want to say start with what was the first one?
I think that because everybody will be going through challenges in their relationship, you know, everybody experiences challenges. If you find that you're not being kind to someone, just show kindness. Show different elements of kindness. You know what I mean? Compassion. There might be, you know, something that's happened. You might need to show compassion. You might need to be helpful. You know, at different stages throughout your married life, you're going to be showing all of this at some point, you know, and you just have to lean into it. Like if there is something that comes up, you say, do you know what, this is my opportunity to show, you know, that I'm going to be patient. If they're not, you know, like there was something that I posted the other day where the wife asked the husband to take the bin out, and it was so funny because by the time she said, could you take the bin out for me, by the time he turned around, she was like, I'll do it myself. He didn't even get the opportunity to take the bin out. And it's just demonstrating patience. Like there are things that you're not going to get at the time when you actually want it. So just be patient. Yeah. So I'm glad that we've covered this subject. And, you know, me and Paul was talking about what love isn't. So there's another side to it where it speaks about what love isn't. And so we're going to be bringing that to you guys so that we can look at the areas where, again, we may be falling short and there might be envy there, and you may be proud, or you might be dishonest, or keeping records of wrong.
Mhm.
These are
I think
elements
I think I think we could
to
we
look
could
at.
actually do that next week because I'm going to still be in
Possibly.
Egypt. Um,
Possibly.
I like plugging Egypt, you know.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And do you want to read this, Ronkies?
Okay, so Ronki says, I take great pleasure on reflecting back on 17 years together, 11 years married this year. Lord knows it's happened through perseverance, but the key has always been the love between us. And I applaud you.
Yep.
I applaud you. Hi, Dennis. Thanks for jumping on. So we're going to be wrapping up. I think that is a beautiful way to wrap up, and the fact that my brother is in Egypt with his wife, you know, and they're going to be 10 years married on Thursday is beautiful. It's all about love. We're not even in the month of February, but love is
Yes,
in the air. Dun, dun,
that's
dun, dun,
why
dun,
love is
dun.
a
Love
daily
is in the
thing.
air.
Don't
No,
don't
well,
do
we
that.
don't even
Don't,
celebrate Valentine's really, but yeah,
don't,
it's good to love and it's good to be
thank
loved.
you.
And you know, I think it's necessary for us to take a rain check sometimes and not just go through the motions of just being with someone, but be intentional about loving our spouses. I think that's important. Any final words from you guys? Any final words? Any
And
final words?
remember that if there's a subject that you want to talk about that's dear to your heart, or you know someone who wants to, they're going through something, and you want that subject to invite them onto here, please,
Yeah, the platform's
send us a
open,
message.
guys. You can be on screen with us and share
Yeah,
your
that's a point. That's a
feelings.
point. This isn't as we can bring you on that you'll be a
Yeah,
guest as
so
well.
at any
We
point
talk
in
about that.
time,
Yeah,
you know, we can do that. We can
Ronky.
invite people on.
Yes, Ronky. Yes,
Um,
Trevor.
yeah, because it's
Yes,
really good when you get
yes,
good
Carol.
feedback. And thank you for the you guys being in the chat and being interactive. Trevor actually said we might have to do some matchmaking on here as well, Paul. Good for you guys being married. I'm waiting my turn. That's all that you can do is wait your turn. And Ronki said, thanks for a great show. It was awesome. Thank you, Ronki. Carol said, wow, and for sure. And Trevor again reiterated what
Great show,
Ronki said.
guys.
Great show, guys.
Invite your friends.
Okay,
Invite
thanks for that opportunity. Yeah.
those that you know that might. I want kind of benefit from this. I'm gonna have to go anyway because Jared, my son's in America, and he's just got
Oh,
with his friend,
you
and
are
I
all jet setters, eh? All jet
yes,
setting off.
yes. So I'm gonna go. Hold on, Jared.
Good job.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to him to make sure that he is settled in or got in any
Yeah.
difficulties.
All
Love
right.
you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonia. Great job, both of you. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Now, good night. You're finally going to your
Good
bed.
night.
All right, then, guys. Thank you so much. Join us next week for another gym time. And yeah, we're just hoping that you guys are enjoying it. Please share with your friends and your family and share on your platforms if necessary, if you can. All right. Bye-bye.